Good evening and welcome to the NXTGEN Season 18 Paramaxed TCV8 League. We are live from Brands Hatch GP for round number 7 of this illustrious championship, where everyone is in the Mercedes A-Class touring car. Brands Hatch GP, 2.433 miles long. Famous for always tending to be the British Touring Car Championship finale. See, this season they go around the Indy circuit for the finale, but we're going to nick the circuit for the day and thunder around and hopefully get some very much close and action-packed racing for tonight. We have 10 cars. We have AMH, Iceman, Les, Automatic Dave, Bruce Lee Harding, Shadowstalker, Tim, Fourfish, D. Whitehouse, and Jack TM53. Synopsis. Quick overview of the points. NXTGEN Les leads the way on 103 points from AMH Racing on 102. Iceman is on 83, Jack on 80, Cam on 71, Fourfish has 65, Bruce on 51, Vass on 46, Traumatic Dave 45, Shadowstalker at 40, Dean Whitehouse on 33, Rally Matt 26, Johnny 23, RS Jim 10, Tim on 8, and Ultimatum on 3. We're going to go on board here with NXTGEN Les for a lap of Brands Hatch GP, starting as you head across the line and up towards Paddock Hill Bend, over the crest. Got to be careful, the back end gets light, clip of the curb, don't clip it too much, it'll send you off wide. 4th gear, back up the hill into Druids, brake just after the bridge, down to 2nd, just squaring up a little bit for Les to get the power on earlier. Graham Hill Bend, down to 3rd, flick the car in and let it roll until you can pick up the throttle again. Down the Cooper Straight and into Surtees. 3rd gear, late apex, because it brings you on to the Hawthorne Straight towards Pilgrim's Drop. Over the hill and into Hawthorne Bend. Again, very fast 5th gear, down to 4th to get the revs up for heading towards Westfield. Again, 4th gear, don't clip the curb, it will send you out wide. Through Dingle Down and then up the hill towards Sheen Curve. 4th gear, again another quick flick right hander, but you've got to be careful. You go wide, you're having a bad day. Sterling cambers in 3rd gear, carry a lot of pace through there, more than you can sometimes think. Down through Clearways into Clark Curve, again slightly later apex to get it a nice traction zone out onto the Brabham Straight. And that's a lap of Brands Hatch GP, and that is currently the fastest lap of the session with a 1 minute 30.7 for NXTGEN Les. There's D17 ahead. Tim in the pits. Bruce Lee Harding comes across the line. What can he do? So he had a moment somewhere. We'll have one more attempt. AMH currently sits on a 131.5. Only 8 tenths, he's 1.2 up on his best lap so far as he heads into Stirling. Down towards Clearways, Clark Curve. Beautifully taken from the defending champion. Across the line, purchased on pole position by 3/10 of a second. Fourfish can't improve his plates. Here comes Les. He's got a bit of a slipstream. doesn't go any quicker, and he was flashing his lights, so maybe felt like he got held up by D Whitehouse 7 there. Shadowstalker, Iceman puts it 4th on the grid. Jack, not a very good qualifying by him, 1.3 off the pace, he's in 7th. Iceman coming to cross the line. He puts himself up into 4th place. Bruce Lee Harding, the final man, crosses the line, puts it 6th on the grid. I say final man, but we do have a couple of drivers, AMH. And Traumatic Dave currently 7th at the moment on 131.6. He's 1.2 off the pace of AMH right now. Machine curve for AMH down towards Sterling. Clark curve for his final lap of the session. Can he go any quicker than his 1:30.3? The answer is yes, he can. He can do a 1:30.0. Traumatic Dave. Find out in a minute. So, the grid order for the race at Brands Hatch GP is row 1, AMH is on pole position with Les alongside the 2 championship protagonists on that front row. Row 2 consists of 4Fish and Iceman. Row 3, D Whitehouse and Bruce Lee Harding. Row 4, Traumatic Dave, Jack TM53 synopsis, not the qualifying he would be hoping for there. He's got a bit of work to do there for Jack. Row 5, Shadowstalker and NGR Tim rounds out our grid in 10th place, 7.3 off the pace. But we know Tim, better racer than he is qualifier. So we sink in. We have the 3 red lights. We are green at Brands Hatch GP. Everyone gets off the line well. It's going to be AMH who leads into Paddock Hill Bend. A bit of a bump on the wall there for D Whitehouse, but it looks fit through Paddock Hill. Looks like we're through cleanly. No one going off as they head into Druids for the first time. 4Fish under attack. Iceman down the inside. Iceman will get him so far, but 4Fish comes back at him into Graham Hill Bend. Good driving from the pair. There's Bruce Lee Harding, still in 6th, so I don't think any positions have changed, although Bruce Lee Harding was around the outside of Iceman by the looks of it. Didn't quite pull that one off through Surtees. Through Pilgrims, dropping into Hawthorns. I believe no one has made up any places. Oh, spin. That's Iceman. Collision, that's Les. And D Whitehouse 7. That wasn't the smartest of rejoins from Les, I don't think. See there, Les going straight back on right on the apex pretty much of Westfield. And it's put D Whitehouse down into 7th. Les is currently 3rd behind 4Fish. It's given AMH a gap of 2.5 seconds on this, the first lap. AMH is away. And I feel Les may be taken to the steward's office. There's looking to shape up a move here on 4Fish to the inside of Druids. Just about got his nose down there as well. Looking to the outside of Graham Hill. He isn't going to do that. We'll have to look for a switch. Can't get a switch. And Bruce Lee Harding. Clever positioning from Bruce, knowing the fact that Les looking to the outside was never going to get a good run. Gets to the inside of Surtees. And instead of going up, Les is going down. Bruce into 3rd. Les into 4th. And Jack is next on the list for Les to have to try and defend from. Les looking to the outside of Hawthorns, trying to squeeze Bruce Lee Harding a little bit before going into the corner, but Bruce having none of it. And the next gen Les Unfortunately, not able to make up any more places. Once again, let's look into the outside of a corner. Very close between the two. Through Sheen Curve into Sterling. Les looking to try and get on with it, but can't find a way past. You'll know how close they are. On board here with Les. Looking to the outside of Bruce Lee Hardy. Just about to see the number 15 there. Oh, and Les almost into the side as he loses the back end a little bit through Paddock Hill Bend. Jack now down the inside, and Les down to 5th place. Once again, Les being overtaken, trying to make a move around the outside of a corner. The car behind just taking that slightly different approach of slower in, traction out. NGR Tim, I believe, has now already retired from this race, which is a bit of a shame. Jack now has Bruce ahead of him. Through Hawthorns, a little bit too much curve from Bruce. Almost pushing the car wide. Up to Sheen Curve. Oh, Bruce not quite nailing the apex, but keeping on the circuit, so he's carrying good pace into Sterling. The question is, can these guys catch up to Four Fish? And if they do, well, they do. Les in the background, getting a bit sideways through Clark Curve as he gets onto the back of Jack. TM53 Synopsis. This could come into a four-way fight for second place if they can catch up to Four Fish. They did take a little bit of time out of Four Fish last time around, 0.2 of a second. The gap now around 0.7. Through Graham Hill Bend. Surtees, and you can start to see Bruce Lee Harding building that little bit of a gap to Jack. Les getting on the grass on the exit of Surtees. That's not going to help his run. Down to Hawthorns. Les once again can't make a move. Oh, Les has got to be careful. He's starting to push the Mercedes a bit too hard. Running slightly wide out of corners, and it could get him in a lot of trouble with a spin to the barriers. We can see the gap between Bruce Lee Harding and Four Fish closing. Bruce probably now has the slipstream, and Les again trying to go around the outside. Runs out of room. He's trying everything in the book right now, is Les. Oh, he has got a good run though, this time through Clark Curve. Instead of being on the outside, he will be on the inside, but I don't know whether he's just conceded that to Jack. Maybe he's just tapped Jack going into Clark Curve. Just pushed Jack a bit wide, so it looks like Les just allowing Jack back in front, so good sportsmanship there. So we head through Druids and into Graham Hill Bend. Now whilst this is going on, because these guys are starting to group up together, getting that slipstream train going, they are starting to eat away at AMH's lead. It's not by masses, but they continue to eat away at it. Oh, there goes Les. I did say earlier in the race he was pushing the car hard, and if he was to flirt with the grass too much, it would end up like that. And lo and behold, it has. And he's now down to 5th, with Iceman starting to close in on him now. That almost a bit of renewed hope in that vein. Bruce Lee Harding starting onto the tail of Four Fish. To cross the line. Coming towards the halfway point, and the question is, does Four Fish decide, let's work together, or does he defend like crazy? I reckon these trio have a good chance of catching AMH here. And Jack may be signalling that with his flash of the lights, like, let's go. Let's go and catch AMH and make this a 4-car battle for the win. Through Hawthorns. Into Westfield. Dingle Shinko, and the gap is actually... AMH is actually building a gap here. I say Four Fish is kind of now becoming a bit of a cork in the bottle. Through Clark Curve. Whilst that's going on, DY House 7 has found Traumatic Dave. The Battle of the Daves resumes here in the TCV8 League. They head through Clark Curve. Again, DY House not quite close enough yet to making a move. Meanwhile, Iceman and LUFC looking to try and get onto the back of Les here. See if he can make up another place. Get into that top 5. So on board Jack TM53 Synopsis, he's got a great view of this battle. Four Fish going defensive, and this is now definitely helping AMH get away for good. Oh, and Four Fish flirting with danger on the outside. Gotta be careful on the outside of Westfield, and again through Dingledale. It with inbounds through Sheen Curve and into Sterling. Now you'd say Bruce was a little bit wide going into Sterling, but you can see the run he's got compared to Jack. Jack going on a type of line you can go in on. So head on towards lap number 8. Yeah, so AMH is about 2.7 now between Four Fish and the leader. Good line from Jack though. He's going to get a good run on Bruce Lee Harding coming up into Druids. Decides better of it. So he's thinking the long game at the moment. Maybe the last 2 laps he'll have a go at passing Bruce Lee Harding. But right now, they want to try and keep away from Les. Although Jack looking to the inside, coming up towards Surtees. Bruce Lee Harding not giving this one up. Round the outside he goes, looking for the slipstream from Four Fish, and he's going to get it as he head towards Pilgrim's Drop. I think Jack's best bet now is to concede the place. Drop back in. And he has done before Hawthorns. See how much time that's cost him to Four Fish. Four Fish now about a second up the road. Oh, Jack's had big problems through Westfield. Got a twitch on through Westfield. Send Jack into the barriers, and now he's about 1.8 behind Bruce Lee Harding. DY House has retired from the race as well. Bit of a shame, because that was looking like a bit of a good battle shaping up between him and Traumatic Dave. I think NXTGEN Layers just ran a bit wide through Clark Curve. He's going to allow Iceman to the outside of Paddock Hill Bend. We'll keep it there, down towards Druids. A bit of a squeeze from Les as they head up towards the hairpin. Les just about keeping his top 5 place. So you're down to Surtees for the 9th time of 12. Everyone's just a little bit spread out at the moment. This is your closest battle. Here's Iceman and Les on board with the yellow Mercedes. There's a little bit sideways through Hawthorns, not enough to get Iceman excited coming into Westfield. Into Sterling, got 3 laps to go. Iceman just dropping off the back of Les at the moment. Just trying to gain that time back. Bruce Lee Harding, obviously having dropped off the back of Fourfish and without someone behind him to give him that push, he's managed to fall into this little spell where he's not catching Fourfish. He's losing a little bit here and there, gaining on him a little bit here and there, but not really in a position to close in and try and make the move. Back to Iceman, because again he is fairly close to Les. And Les only 1.8 behind Jack. There is a potential these two can catch up to Jack and have a bit of a battle for 4th place in the late stages of this race. Just 2 laps to go for the TCV8 League here at Brands Hatch GP. Up the hill into Druids, Les still just ahead. Down to Pilgrim's Drop. Yep, Jack is closing, but it's not closing enough for Les to get onto the back of him, maybe try and make a move. It's going to probably take a mistake from Jack now for him to lose that 4th place. But Fourfish to Bruce, that has come down significantly. So has Fourfish made a mistake somewhere, allowing Bruce Lee Harding to get on the back of him, get into that slipstream, ready for the last lap? Eight tenths is the gap, more or less. Into Paddock Hill Bend. Bit wide from Bruce is going to cost him a bit of time, that slide. Druids. 1 second is the gap. Bruce Lee Harding needs to make sure he has no further mistakes. It climbs to 1.1 as they go through Graham Hill Bend. Whilst that's happened, it looks like Les has made a mistake somewhere because Iceman is through into the top 5. There is Fourfish. He is 1.2 ahead of Bruce Lee Harding to try and keep that 2nd place. AMH will take the lead from Les if this continues. That should continue if AMH loses the race now. If he's behind Les, I'll be very, very surprised, but it has happened before, AMH making an unforced error. Now, just to show he is still leading, because we haven't seen much of AMH this race. He's kind of gone out into the lead, got a gap, and just controlled the race very nicely. He's going to come through Clark Curve. It's going to be, in the end, a fairly easy victory, but it will be AMH Racing who wins here at Brands Hatch GP. Great driving by him. Four Fish clings on for second place with Bruce in third. Jack comes home in fourth. Iceman will be in fifth. Les sixth. There's Shadow Stalker. He's coming into Clark Curve now. He will be in seventh place. A good result from him. He'll be happy. Good solid points for the championship. Traumatic Dave will be in eighth. And the last classified finisher of the race. So AMH wins the provisional results for tonight. AMH does win from Four Fish, Bruce Lee Harding in third, Jack fourth, Iceman fifth, Les sixth, Shadowstalker seventh, Traumatic Dave eighth, D. Whitehouse retired after 7 laps, Tim retiring after 2. So that's it for the TCV8 League. Next up on the channel will be my point of view of the Monday night Paramax Clio Cup from Brands Hatch Indy, so stay tuned for that one. That'll be up in about 5-10 minutes time. No talking, just the gameplay footage. But next week for the TCV8 League, it will be Bathurst. I believe everyone will be in the McGann's, I believe. I'm just double checking that. So yeah, everyone will be in the Renault Megane TC round Bathurst. One not to be missed, that should be an absolute belter. But from myself and everyone here at the TCV8 League, thank you to Batmax for sponsoring the league, and thank you guys for watching tonight. Do join us next week for more touring car action. But for myself and everyone here, thank you for watching. Good night.